An old blacksmith, groggy from what Grid could only assume was an unhealthy amount of day drinking, rose from a makeshift bed and squinted at him. "What do you want?" Grid cut straight to the point. "I want to craft the most marketable item possible. Can you help me?" The old man laughed in his face. Step 3. Find out the forge is in trouble. The blacksmith shook his head, letting out a deep sigh. "Kid, you're a decade too late. Marrow sells in bulk at dirt cheap prices. I haven't had a real customer in years." Grid winced. "So, you're saying this place is useless?" The blacksmith nodded. "I've been closed for a long time. If anything, I'm just waiting." Grid was just about to leave when, the door slammed open. A gang of 5 thugs swaggered in, armed to the teeth with trouble written all over their faces. One of them sneered, "Yo, old man, have you made up your mind yet?" Grid instantly knew what was happening. Oh, it's one of those situations. The lead thug tossed a contract onto the table. "Sign the damn thing and hand over the forge while we're still being nice." Grid's gut told him to leave. "Not my problem. Just walk away." Then the system dropped a bombshell. The contract transfers all ownership rights. Company involved, Marrow's trading group, highly influential. Grid's eyes narrowed. "Ah, so it's Marrow's goons." He slowly inched toward the door. "Not my fight. I don't need this quest. I don't dash HEY. One of the thugs turned, scowling. "Did you just see the contract? Where do you think you're going, you little rat?" Crap. Grid knew exactly what this was. NPC thugs. Lawless types. They can kill players without consequences. He eyed their levels around 35. Okay. No need to panic. Just play it cool." He awkwardly scratched his head, throwing on his best idiot expression. Nope. I didn't see a thing. I just got here, had no idea this place was closed. I'll just dash." "Shut up." The thug spat. "I can tell by looking at you. You're lying." "Crap." The blacksmith clenched his fists, glaring at the gang. "You bastards think you can just take my family business? This forge has been in my family for 7 generations. One of the goons scoffed. "Old man, we suffered because of you. Consider yourself lucky we're even offering half the original price." "Wait, what?" Grid blinked. He hasn't even agreed yet, and they're already cutting his price? Then the biggest idiot of the bunch opened his mouth. "Didn't your only son die of disease? Stop calling this place his grave." The forge went dead silent. Grid's stomach dropped. The blacksmith's face twisted in rage. "How dare you talk about my son, you filthy dash." Grid immediately turned back toward the door. Nope, not getting involved. This is not my fight. I am not a hero. I am leaving dash." Then it happened. A system notification flashed in front of him. Quest activated. Blacksmith's Rage objective. Get rid of Marrow's goons and destroy the sales contract. Reward. Increased reputation with Khan, the blacksmith, and a special skill. Failure. Khan will die in a few days. All related quests will disappear. Grid froze. Wait, a class skill? He reread the quest. Skill unlock. Blacksmith's Rage. A class skill. Grid exhaled slowly. Then he smirked. Oh, well, if it's a class skill. Looks like I'm staying. What are my chances? Grid studied the skill description, his mind racing. Legendary Blacksmith's Patience. Increases health, defense, and dexterity for 1 hour. Well, at least I have this, he muttered, trying to reassure himself. Then he remembered his fight with Doran and Yura. If his health hit 1, his passive skill would activate, granting him 5 seconds of invulnerability. That was his ace. But there was one huge problem: his equipment was locked away in the vault. No armor, no weapons. Then his eyes landed on the lone item in his inventory. A Jaffa arrow. His grip tightened around it. Wait, this thing is epic. It wasn't a sword, but if it ignored defense completely, then maybe, just maybe, it could work. From behind the thugs, his voice rang out, sharp and clear. Hey, watch your mouth when you talk to your elders. The gang leader turned, scowling. What did you just say? Khan, the blacksmith, looked at Grid in shock. You, why are you standing up for me? The gang leader took a step forward. And why are you still here? Grid lifted the arrow like a dagger. Because even collectors have their limits. The thugs laughed. You serious? One sneered. We let you live and now you want to play hero? With one arrow. That's not all I have, Grid said, smirking. A system notification popped up. New skill acquired. Blacksmith's Rage plus 20% attack power, plus 20% attack speed for 20 seconds cooldown. 300 seconds. Grid clenched his fists. All right, let's do this. One of the thugs lunged. Grid barely dodged, heart pounding. Since when are low-level warriors this fast? He bolted toward the staircase. Narrow passage. One-on-one fights. Perfect. At the top, he turned and taunted them. Come on, then. Who's first? I'll gouge out your damn eyes. A bandit with an axe snarled and charged up the stairs. You little dash. As soon as the thug got close, he swung. Grid dodged and drove the arrow straight into his chest. Critical hit. The bandit collapsed instantly. The leader's jaw dropped. What the hell? The downed thug wheezed. And an arrow shouldn't hit that hard. Grid twirled the arrow between his fingers. Yeah? Open your eyes, dumbass. This isn't just any arrow. Another system notification popped up. Blacksmith's Rage activated. Attack speed and power increased for 20 seconds. Grid felt power surge through him. Oh, hell yes. The remaining gang members rushed him. But Grid was a blur, striking twice as fast, twice as hard. One fell, then another. More notifications. You have killed a Winston bandit. Your reputation in Winston has increased. You have gained EXP. Level up. You are now level 8. Grid's eyes widened. Holy crap. 5 levels just like that? But there were still 4 left. These guys hit hard but have trash defense, he muttered, allocating his stat points. Strength and agility it is. Another thug lunged, swinging wildly. Grid dodged and countered, sending him stumbling back into his comrades. The bandit leader scowled. His attacks are too damn fast. We can't fight with big weapons on narrow stairs. Grid grinned. That's right. You're in my territory now. Then Blacksmith's Rage is on cooldown. Grid's smirk faltered. Damn it. My crits are gone. I'm still too weak. The leader pointed his sword at him. Listen, kid. If you give up now, we might let you live. Grid exhaled sharply. Yeah, no. He charged straight into them. For enemies. Won him. 0 room for mistakes. If they surrounded him, he'd be dead in 2 or 3 hits max. But that was exactly what he wanted. Because if his health dropped to 1, 5 seconds of invincibility, and 5 seconds was all he needed. The bandit leader sneered, raising his sword. You ready to die? Grid's smirk returned, wicked and sharp. Nah, I'm ready to win. A few seconds passed. Then, system notification. Legendary Blacksmith's Endurance could not be activated. Grid's heart sank. Oh, shit, he thought, before nervously calling out, Hey guys, let's talk about this dash. Too late. One of the bandits, face twisted with rage, charged at him, screaming, Die, you bastard. Grid barely dodged, his heart hammering. Damn it, that was my backup plan. Now what? Before he could recover, 2 more thugs rushed in. Attack together. Grid braced himself, but with no weapons and no armor, he couldn't fully block their attacks. Pain seared through him. System notification. You have taken damage. He stumbled back, gritting his teeth, and yanked a health potion from his inventory. I have over 1,000 HP, he grumbled, chugging the potion. And I'm drinking a mid-tier potion for a single hit? What a scam. The cooldown timer mocked him. 20 seconds left. If I can't stall until then, I'm dead. Grid ducked and weaved, dodging as best he could. Then, spotting an opening, he lunged forward and slammed his Jaffa arrow against an incoming axe, knocking it clean out of the enemy's hands. Yes, but the cost. System notification. You have taken damage. Groaning, he chugged another potion. Damn it! He cursed, pulling out every last potion he had. This is my entire savings. With a grimace, he downed a buff potion, granting plus 10% attack power for 5 minutes. 2 gold down the drain for this B-rank quest. I hate everything. The bandit leader sensed weakness. Now, boys, finish him. 4 of them rushed in at once. Grid dodged left barely. A sword whistled past his ear. He ducked, twisted, and jumped back, heart pounding. You little rat, a bandit snarled. You're slippery as hell, but let's see how long that lasts. Another flurry of attacks rained down. Grid dodged, then slipped. A blade cut across his side. System notification. You have taken damage. Grid hissed in pain. They're attacking together. Even buffed. I still can't keep up. He backpedaled, barely staying on his feet. The thug gawked. He's still standing? Grid wiped blood from his mouth and grinned. Did you really think it would be that easy? He taunted. Here's a deal, drop the contract and walk away. The bandits froze. Then, shut your damn mouth. You killed Neil and now you want mercy? Screw the contract. We're just going to kill you. Grid's sweat dropped. Whoa, okay, guess that didn't work. His hand reached behind him. Come on, potions, just a little longer. The bandit leader pointed at him. You're half dead, fool. What are you gonna do now? Grid lunged. System notification. Blacksmith's rage has reloaded. He slammed his arrow into another thug's chest. Critical hit. The bandit collapsed instantly. Johnson! The leader screamed. You little shit. Grid popped another potion, smirking. Who told you to let your guard down? He mocked. Oh wait, we're not that close for personal conversations, are we? A new voice snarled. I wonder what you'd say if it was a trap. You damn cockroach. A sword swung toward his head. Grid dodged, barely. The bandit leader grinned. Die, you talkative piece of trash. Grid scoffed. You're running at me unguarded? Idiot. I'm level 11 now. He stabbed forward, aiming for the leader. Clang. The attack stopped cold. A tank had stepped in. Grid's epic-quality arrow stuck in his skin like a toothpick. The thug smirked. Try harder. From behind the tank, two other bandits rushed out. Port. We won't let you die that easy. Their blades struck. Grid flew backward, blood splattering. Khan, watching from the corner, paled. Hey, kid, you okay? Grid gritted his teeth. I need time to drink another potion. Before he could move, the tank grabbed him, lifting him off the ground. Trying to run again? The thug sneered. Grid struggled. Two more bandits rushed forward, blades raised. I'm screwed. His mind raced, then he saw something. On the second floor, covered in a dusty sheet. Armor. Armor. Grid fought back. He jabbed his arrow into the tank's spine, forcing him to drop him. You're wasting your time, the leader roared. Grid yanked the arrow out and hurled it at the leader, forcing him to block. Then he ran, straight for the stairs. The damn stairs again? The leader screamed. Grid, clutching his wound, gritted his teeth. This is a bad idea. The leader grinned. Fool, you threw away your weapon. You're finished. But Grid kept running, straight to the armor in the attic. Grid sprinted toward the armor, his heart hammering. Khan, he yelled. Do you want to protect your forge or lose it? The old man, breathing heavily, clenched his fists. What if that armor and sword are part of my rewards? His mind raced. If I own them, I'd be a billionaire. Excited, he compared them to the weapons he had crafted. Dine's Leaf and Valhalla are unique tier, like my bug, but unlike bug, they're tradable. His greedy grin widened. After finishing his meal, Grid rushed to his capsule. I left the old man in the hospital, he muttered. So he should be fine. Sliding in, he logged back in. Take care of yourself, Khan, he chuckled. My fortune depends on you. The moment he spawned, Grid blinked. I'm at the hospital? He frowned. What kind of game does this? Walking inside, he found Khan alive, awake, and grinning. You're here, the old man cheered. Grid squinted. You look way too happy for someone who just collapsed. Turning to the doctor, he asked, Is he good to go? The doctor nodded. His blood pressure is stabilized. No drinking and he'll be fine. Grid's eye twitched. No drinking, Khan paled. Then what's the point of living? Grid grinned, basking in the old man's gratitude. So your name's Grid, huh? Khan said, shaking his head in disbelief. I owe you a great deal. With a dramatic wave of his hand, Grid beamed. It's only natural to help in times of need. Now, about that reward, just a small fee and an official statement will do. Khan's smile twitched. Dada, about that. He scratched his cheek awkwardly. Well, I'm a bit short right now. Grid's grin froze. Excuse me, Behind them, the doctor, who had been silently observing, smiled ominously. If you don't want to anger the gods, you'll need to pay a gold coin. Grid's soul left his body. Wait, what? That divine protection sure disappeared fast. After forcibly parting with his money at the hospital, Grid followed Khan back to the smithy. Once they arrived, Khan clasped Grid's hand with renewed vigor. Thank you. Because of you, I didn't betray 7 generations of blacksmiths. You've given me hope again. Grid threw an arm around the old man's shoulders, supporting him toward his bed. A real man protects his own. But you should rest. Getting discharged doesn't mean you should start drinking again. Khan chuckled, but Grid's face turned serious. If you'd lost your forge, the booze would have killed you long before those bandits. And if I hadn't been around when you collapsed, you wouldn't have made it to the hospital. The blacksmith nodded gratefully. I wish I could do something for you in return. Grid's eyes gleamed. Well, he said, turning pointedly toward the armor gleaming in the corner. You could always give me that. Khan stiffened. Wait, listen, Grid. I can't give them to you. Grid's smile dimmed. Wait. Am I not your savior? Your benefactor? Your patron saint of forge preservation? Khan turned away. These are family heirlooms. My ancestors protected them with their lives. Please, understand. The old man's gaze softened as he looked at the armor. Dainsleif and Valhalla. They are both cursed and blessed objects. Grid perked up. Cursed? Khan sighed. Because no one has ever been able to wield them. Not since a certain legendary figure recognized their worth. His expression grew distant. That man was Pagma. Grid's eyes widened. Khan continued, his voice tinged with reverence. The moment he picked up Dainsleif, his swordsmanship became one with the weapon. His swings pierced the sky, they summoned lightning. Damn, Grid muttered. My ancestor Albertino was so in awe, he begged Pagma to take them. And Grid leaned forward eagerly. He refused. Grid's face fell. Are you kidding me? Khan chuckled. Before leaving, he said, one day, the true owner of these weapons will come and wield them. Then the old man turned to Grid with sharp eyes. So tell me, Grid, how did you do it? Grid's mind raced. Could this be a chain quest? His heart pounded. If this was exclusive content, he couldn't let other players get it. He grinned slyly. I guess you could say. He paused for dramatic effect. I'm a lot like Pagma. Khan's breath hitched. Pagma? He took a step forward, eyes widening. Wait, then, does that mean? With a flourish, Grid announced, that's right. I am Pagma's descendant. System notification. Class quest created Pagma's descendant. Follow the path of Pagma's swordsmanship and collect all the associated legends. Grid grinned victoriously. All right, now about that armor dash. Khan shook his head. I still can't give them to you. What? I need proof, the old man insisted. Please, understand. Grid fumed. Khan meanwhile smiled slyly. My ancestor met a legend, and now I've met his successor. With a chuckle, he walked over to his chest, opened it and pulled out a bottle of alcohol. If you truly are Pagma's heir, you'll prove it in time. But for now, let's drink. Grid lunged. Oh, hell no. He snatched the bottle from Khan's hands. No alcohol until I finish my quest, old man. Before Khan could protest, the door creaked open. A well-dressed man stepped in. Pardon the intrusion. Grid frowned. Khan tensed. I am Rebout, here on behalf of Marrow Company. Grid's brows shot up. Oh, great. The corporate crooks sent a replacement. Khan sighed and turned toward Rebout. And what, exactly, do you want? Rebout smiled thinly. We've heard you still can't pay your debt of 200 gold. The blacksmith's eyes darkened. That's true, but I won't give you the forge. So leave. Rebout remained calm. Actually, I'm here to offer you one final chance. Grid's fingers twitched. He already hated this guy. If you give us the forge, Rebout continued, we will guarantee you a high salary and management rights. Khan scoffed. So, you want me to become an errand dog for Marrow Company? Rebout's smile never wavered. This deal is far better than the last. His gaze sharpened. So you'll refuse? The blacksmith narrowed his eyes. This isn't about money. It's about my family's forge. Reb outside theatrically. I see. So the rumors about your pride were true. His expression darkened. Well then, if we shake that pride, will you change your mind? Grid crossed his arms. Oh, here we go. What is it this time? Rebout's smile widened. Let's settle this fairly. He leaned forward. A competition. Grid's eyebrows shot up. Your debt and your forge against our blacksmith. If our blacksmith proves superior, the forge belongs to us. He sat back, smug. So, what do you say? Rebid's proposal was smooth, professional, almost too fair on the surface. But Grid wasn't fooled. Yeah, right, he thought. Like they won't just send some top-tier blacksmith to crush Khan. But before he could even roll his eyes, Khan spoke up without hesitation. All right, if that's how it is, I'll accept. Grid's jaw dropped. Old man, what the hell dash? Khan, however, wasn't done. A sly smile crept onto his face. But, the blacksmith added, my own skills have long since rusted from lack of use, so I won't be competing. Rebid raised an eyebrow. Oh? Then who will? Khan turned and pointed directly at Grid. This is my successor. Grid choked on air. Excuse me? Rebid blinked, then smirked. I see. So he had nothing to do with this after all. He adjusted his glasses. Are you really sure about that? Khan nodded firmly. Grid whirled on the old man. You've got a lot of nerve, you know that? Just signing me up like that. At that moment, system notifications flooded his vision. New quest. Production duel with Marrow Company victory reward. Increased reputation in Winston, town favor, a golden prize. Failure consequence. Reputation plummets to 0. The forge is transferred to Marrow. Grid scanned the quest details and grinned. An A-class crafting quest, huh? He chuckled to himself. If this were a combat mission, I'd be screwed at my level. But, his grin widened. I'm a legendary blacksmith who forged an epic arrow. This is nothing. Meanwhile, Rebid, oblivious to Grid's thoughts, gave a satisfied nod. Very well. We'll inform you of the competition venue soon. With that, the company representative strode confidently out the door. As soon as Rebid was gone, Khan rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Sorry for dragging you into this, Grid, but I just had to protect my forge. Grid laughed. Don't sweat it. His internal monologue, however, was far less noble. I'd sell my soul for the right reward anyway. Reopening the quest details, Grid's eyes gleamed. This is gonna make me filthy rich. Sensing his excitement, Khan rummaged through his storage and pulled out a couple of swords. By the way, he said, placing them on the table, I have some spare weapons left from when the shop closed. You can practice with these. Grid picked one up and inspected it. You know, he said curiously, why didn't you ask the Lord of Winston for help? Khan, already moving toward the forge's storage area side. Because the Lord is involved. Grid's brows furrowed. Wait, bribed? Khan nodded grimly. Marrow has him in their pocket. Grid frowned. But isn't Winston part of Earl Stime's territory? Why not go directly to him? Khan's grip tightened on a stack of firewood. I tried, many times, but the Lord always blocked me before I could leave the village. Grid clicked his tongue. Damn, they've got everything locked down. Still, he grinned confidently. Don't worry about it. I'll win. Khan turned to him, his eyes wavering. You really believe that? Grid gave him a cocky smirk. You bet your anvil I do. Khan exhaled sharply, his lips curling into a grateful smile. Thank you, Grid. If my son were still alive, he'd be about your age. At that, Khan's face darkened. His eyes watered. Grid panicked. Oi, stop crying, he said, awkwardly patting the old man's shoulder. You'll see just how amazing I am at blacksmithing. Internally, however, why the hell am I being so nice? This isn't like me. Khan's just my ticket to fortune, right? But as he watched the old man wiping his tears, Grid felt something strange. Warmth. It reminded him of something. Grandpa. Training with Khan turned out to be different. As he experimented with steel, Grid caught himself thinking, his reserved mannerisms remind me of my grandfather. When he adjusted the furnace temperature, he mused, I actually enjoy working with this guy. By the time he was hammering away at the anvil, he was smiling without realizing it. Ha! He wiped sweat from his forehead. I think I actually feel at peace. After a long night of practice, Grid finally logged out. Stepping out of the immersion capsule, he stretched. Only 4 a.m.? I can still get half an hour of sleep. He paused. 2 days straight in-game, but the results were worth it. As he leaned back, he compared Khan to Smith from Byron. They're different, he thought, but Khan's skills aren't bad at all. Looking out the window, watching the sun rise, Grid sighed. Man, I can't wait to get back to the forge. And Dashi froze. Wait, did I just say that? What the hell is wrong with me? Still shaken by his own thoughts, Grid shuffled to the kitchen, where his parents were preparing breakfast. His mother greeted him with a smile. Oh, Jonah, you're up early. Slept well. Grid sighed dramatically. Honestly, I'd be much more energized if I had some eel for breakfast. His father's eyes twinkled mischievously. Eel, huh? He smirked. Why would a boy without a girlfriend need stamina food? Grid choked on air again. What's that supposed to mean? His father chuckled. Nothing, nothing. His mother gasped. Jonah, dear, are you hiding something from us? Grid groaned. Then, out of nowhere, he suddenly asked, Hey, how's Grandpa doing? Silence. His parents stopped moving. Grid blinked. What's with the reaction? After a long pause, his father sighed. It's just unusual. You never ask about him. His mother nodded. We'll visit him next time. Grid frowned. Something about this whole morning felt strange. But before he could think too much about it, his mind drifted back to Winston, to Khan, to the forge. He needed to get back. Grid nodded as he finished his breakfast, feeling unusually upbeat. Might be a good time to go visit him, he mused to himself. Meanwhile, in a lavish estate, the day after Rebid visited Khan's forge, he stood before Baron Valmont, calmly delivering his report. You what? The Baron, who had been mid-bite into an apple, nearly choked before hurling the fruit at Rebid. Why the hell did you do something so reckless? Rebid barely flinched as the apple bounced off his shoulder. If Khan can't pay his debt, Valmont snarled, his forge would be seized as collateral. Why the hell are you giving him a chance? The Baron's face flushed with rage. A damn competition. What kind of idiot wiping apple juice off his cheek? Rebid remained composed. Things are already bad enough, he said. The people of Winston don't trust Marrow's company. If we want to strengthen our hold, we need to win them over first. The Baron's eye twitched. You're lecturing me? He slammed a fist on the table. This is my land. I decide what happens here. You're an idiot. Rebid kept his face neutral, but internally he sighed. This is Valmont's limit. If things continue like this, the company will collapse. Still, he pressed on. Khan is respected. If we defeat him fairly, the people will be more inclined to accept us. Valmont's rage simmered slightly. Humph. So you're saying we should make it look like we're giving him a fair chance? To improve our public image. Rebid nodded. The Baron leaned back in his chair, a sly grin forming. Heh, that way they'll start trusting us. And we get regular customers in the process. Not bad. After a pause, Valmont narrowed his eyes. But what if that brat actually wins? Rebid smirked. According to my sources, he's a nobody, just a young man with no reputation. And we already have a blacksmith lined up who will crush him. Hearing this, Valmont laughed confidently. Then we'll destroy them. Rebid, however, remained cautious. Even against an unknown, we're sending our best. But we shouldn't get complacent. At the forge, a group of curious visitors had gathered, whispering among themselves. Did this kid really beat Bale's gang? One muttered. Doesn't look like much? An old man scoffed, eyeing Grid as he worked the forge. Khan folded his arms, smiling. Don't underestimate him. He's something else. Grid, overhearing them, groaned. Could you two shut up already? Before the old men could respond, a commotion erupted outside. A crowd burst into the forge, waving flyers in their hands. Old man Khan, is it true? One of them shouted. Grid raised an eyebrow as he took a flyer. The announcement was everywhere in Winston. The Marrow Company and Blacksmith Khan. A grand competition for the forge. We admire and respect Blacksmith Khan. To honor him, we will compete for the right to his forge. If Mr. Khan wins, his debt will be forgiven. and he will keep his forge. Otherwise, the forge will transfer to us, but don't worry. Mr. Khan will still manage it. We only seek harmony with Winston's people. May this be an event of celebration and goodwill. Grid's nose wrinkled. This sounds like bullshit. Khan grimly nodded. Oh, it's true, all right. But let's not kid ourselves. One of the villagers hesitated. I mean, Marrow seems better than we thought. Another chimed in happily. They're paying tribute to Khan. Maybe they're really trying to get along with us. Grid crossed his arms, deep in thought. They did send bandits after us. But maybe. Nah. Something feels off. Before he could say more, Khan's voice boomed through the forge. Idiots. The crowd jumped. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment Flamingo and subscribe for future parts.